Matt Hammitt is the former lead singer and songwriter of Sanctus Real. During his time with the band, the group released 8 albums and 14 top 5 and #1 singles. But when Matt's son was diagnosed with a heart defect in utero, Matt's life and his music changed forever. Welcome to the Harvest Show. Wow.
Thank you.
Much success. I mean, you know, when I was writing my tease for your information, you know, to talk about you, I was like, I can't write all of this. I can't say it's just so much. You were with the band how long?
Yeah, so it was 20 years. That was a Sanctus Real. And we did start young. We started in 1996, but right away we were playing regionally all over, you know, Ohio, Michigan, and Indiana. And so from there it just kept growing, and yeah.
And then you began to tour internationally?
We did, yeah. We got to play all over the world. And those are some of my most fond memories of traveling with the band, is to other countries. So.
And then you hooked up with Corey Mann. He got in contact with you for Pulse Fest, Corey?
Yes, Corey's a longtime friend of Sanctus Real. So he's been a huge supporter and also a friend of ours. So.
You know what I'd love to know, Matt, is you talked about international shows.
Yeah.
What's it like playing on the other side of the planet? You're looking out in the crowd and you see that group of people singing your words back to you.
Oh, yes.
I mean, it's really amazing. And I can do this very shortly, but there was one show in Finland. Actually, it was awesome. We walked out on stage to our intro, and 12,000 people in an arena all just stared at us. And as soon as I sang the first word of the song Face of Love, which you're open for, all of a sudden there was this overwhelming noise and light that I couldn't even comprehend. And later we found out that the people who were emceeing the event had played a joke on us and told everybody in Finnish, because we couldn't understand, to act like they didn't care we were there. But when I sang my first word, for all 12,000 people to take a flash photo and scream at the top of their lungs.
Oh my.
Wow.
It was the best practical joke of all time. It was fun.
But in 2010, your wife was expecting, you two
Yes.
were expecting, and you learned that you were having a son.
Yeah.
In utero. He was diagnosed with a heart defect. How did that change you and impact your, not only your personal life, but your music?
Yeah, well, I mean, at the time we felt, you know, like you always do, isolated and alone at that time. We were like, oh man, we didn't know anybody who dealt with having a child with this specific heart disease, and we didn't know if he would live. And so from that time that he was diagnosed to the time that he was born, and then after he was born and during 2 open heart surgeries in the first 6 months, was a really trying time for us. It was a time we just had to literally trust every single day, you know. And so it was an exercise in trust. But then we found out that 1 in every 110 babies is born with heart disease, and we found a great community of people that gathered around us. And also now we get to gather around others. So.
And I'm sure our viewers and listeners want to know how your son is doing.
Thanks for asking. He's actually, he's steady. We had a little scare a couple weeks ago, but man, he's recovered. He's steady right now. And the greatest part is that he's 6 years old. And so he just turned 6 last September, and we're like, man, you know, we celebrate as a family, obviously, every day we get with all our kids, but he reminds us to be grateful.
And we're talking about Bowen, correct?
You got it. Yep, that's right.
You know, you, I joked that you were a Renaissance guy, but singer, songwriter, that's a whole career right there.
Yeah.
Now you've kind of stepped your foot into, you know, speaking. You're doing these weekend events now. Can you talk a little bit about what that's been like out with those events?
It's been amazing. I've done about a dozen Lead Me Live events. It's, you know, we've kind of springboarded it off the platform of the song Lead Me and the message of being men of action, not just men of intention. And so we built a curriculum that we take guys through over the weekend, and it's been amazing to see the life change. I've also joined with Family Life Ministries out of Little Rock, and I'm speaking for their Weekend to Remember conferences. And so that's been, you know, primarily I'm songwriting, you know, during the weeks, but it's amazing to go out on the weekends, and I get to do music, and then some weekends I even get to speak and see the impact that has on families all over the country. You know?
Did you ever think God would expand your ministry beyond music to stand up before an audience, not with a mic in your hand to sing, but to share the gospel, the good news?
Yeah, you know, I think so. I mean, I think like I always had something to say, but I didn't know what that would look like. So actually the beauty of it is to actually get to see God unfold that story and see what that actually looks like. I think I had like an inkling there'd be more, but I had no idea what it would be.
So talk about your new project.
Yeah, so I have a brand new single called Tears out right now, and we're really grateful. Corey picked it up, and Pulse is playing it. And it's the first out of several songs we're putting out as a album. So my buddy Seth Mosley just started a new record label called FCM Records, but he himself has produced and written over 25 #1 songs. And so to partner with him on this new project is exciting. We don't have a release date yet, but we actually do. I mean, I don't know if this is okay to say, but we actually can give away the single for free to people watching.
We can do that right now?
Yeah, we record it. We actually recorded a exclusive acoustic version, and we actually tell people if they just text Hammitt, it's just my last name, with 2 M's and 2 T's, to 44222, we'll just send them the single for free.
Wow.
Wow, that's good. And plus, we'll put that on Facebook.
That'd be great. Yeah, go to the Facebook page for the show, and we'll make sure you get that information.
You know, when you're writing songs for yourself, but then you have to shift into writing songs for other people, I've always wondered with a songwriter, how do you let go of a song that you kind of would go, I kind of want that for me, but you need to let it go for another artist. How does that work?
Well, I used to be kind of precious about my songs, you know.
Sure.
And I've learned, especially working with Seth and Full Circle team, you know, they're writing songs every day with people, and they're very open-handed with their songs and wherever God wants to take them. And I actually had one experience where I got a call from a very, very well-known Christian band, and they wanted to use one of my songs as a single. And I said, you know, I think I want to keep it for myself. And then it turned out like not working out the way I wanted it to for our band.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, I should have just been open-handed, you know, and said, hey, this song, because really each song is its own message, and whether you sing it or somebody else sings it, it's like that message just gets to go out in the world. I don't always need to be the ambassador of it.
Know? Well, we have you singing at World Pulse Festival, I think it was 2007. I mean, when you look out over the crowd and you see the impact of your music, I mean, what's that like to sing to people and to usher them into the presence of the Lord?
Oh, it's amazing. That connection you get to have with people, and the mystery of how music changes people's lives, which I still don't totally understand, it's amazing. You get to watch that door kind of crack open, and you get to engage in that relationship with them in that moment, and it opens up opportunities for you to speak into their life in a way that you otherwise wouldn't have. And so it's a mysterious and awesome God-given gift.
You know, you've got so many irons in the fire: singer, songwriter, performer, speaker, and you're a family guy, not just Bowen, but there's a couple other kids as well. Can you talk a little bit or inspire people watching? How do you balance all that? That's got to be, you got to have a plan in place, I'm guessing.
Absolutely. And that's what I always tell guys at these Lead Me Live events. I'm like, man, could I be the best lead singer in the business if I never showed up for the show? And I was like, absolutely not. Like, I also can't be the best dad or husband if I don't show up for the show, right?
Right.
It's like I've got to be there, and that's been a big thing for me to realize that my time management and the way that I use my time to be as productive and focused as possible during the hours of the day that I have, but being able to then also, like with God's help, because it's so hard sometimes, like have the grace, you know, to just shut that off a little bit and be able to go back into my house and treat it with the same care and focus that I do my work. And it's hard to do. Every guy struggles with every woman. I mean, everybody struggles with it, not just guys. But it's something that's really important that I've, over the past couple of years, specifically made a priority of mine.
So, Matt, we're about to check out your new lyric video called Tears.
Wonderful.
So set it up for me. Why did you choose the word Tears as the title?
Absolutely. I always wanted to write a song that just felt like the emotion of shedding tears. And I went in with a guy named Jeff Pardo, and I just said, man, I just really want a song that kind of gives people permission to feel. And, you know, life is so busy, it passes by so fast. I'm guilty of that, going through Bowen and even my transition out of Sanctus Real. It was hard sometimes to really take the time to process those things. You want to kind of push them to the side and keep going, but sometimes you have to stop and face it, and you've got to let God work inside you and just soak in that moment and let him do that work. And there's only, you know, that's like God designed it. That's the way it works. Like, for whatever reason, those tears wash our spirit, and that's another mystery. And I wanted to just write a song that kind of tapped that place in people and said, hey, it's okay to stop for a minute, and whether it's joy or pain or anything in between, just process life.
Okay, here you go. The lyric video, Tears.
You've been waiting a long time to let this out into the daylight. You're not alone, we all have days when the well inside needs to break. Just let them fall like healing rain. Watch the walls start crumbling. Let your heart beat and feel the weight you've carried disappear. Just let them fall right down your face. Hit the ground in a pool of grace and feel the things you haven't felt for years. That's why God made tears. The waves crash hard into the harbor, but you don't have to hold them back any longer. There's a freedom found when you're unafraid to let the water wash it all away. Just let them fall like healing rain. Watch the walls start crumbling. Let your heart beat and feel the weight you've carried disappear. Just let them fall right down your face. Hit the ground in a pool of grace and feel the things you haven't felt for years. That's why God made tears. Watch the old become new. Let the fear fade away. Feel His arms around you. Oh, it's okay. You've been waiting a long time. Just let them fall like healing rain. Watch the walls start crumbling. Let your heart beat and feel the weight you've carried disappear. Just let them fall right down your face. Hit the ground in a pool of grace and feel the things you haven't felt for years. That's why God made tears. That's why God made tears.